First up, guys, before I get into this, a big thank you to Liberties and I think Wes Gates were two people that I missed out the thanks on my birthday stream. So if I missed you out on that, I'd had a few, so I do apologise. But a big thank you right now for you guys. Normally when I review a game, like I did with V Rising, I move on straight away to the next game. No matter how much I like a game, it takes a special kind of game to kind of halt me in my tracks and make me keep playing it. In fact, the only one I can think of in the last 5 or 6 years was Valheim and I think Satisfactory. Two absolutely colossal mammoth games. And V Rising is up there. V Rising is up there with them. When I finished the review, the next day, instead of moving on to the next game, I loaded up V Rising. I wanted more. I wanted to see more. I wanted to feel more. I just wanted to live more as that vampire in that world. And I've never stopped playing it since. And I'm absolutely still loving it. I'm not even bored at all of the game. I want to keep playing, but I've got to switch off because I'm doing Sniper Elite tomorrow. I've got a few other games lined up, so I now have to hang up my fangs and leave it for a while I get on with all the other stuff. But it deserves another video because this game is truly phenomenal. And I want to talk a little bit more about it in a bit more depth than what I did in the review, because in the review, you know, you've got to try and hit every little base and you haven't time to sit and dwell on any points. And this game is extremely deep. There are so many mechanics at work in this. They're all pretty simple mechanics and they all make sense. And you know, one of the things that I think makes this game special is I think the developers, you can just tell they're in the know. You know how some games you'll play and you can just tell the developers are clueless. They don't know what they're doing. You can tell they're not gamers as such. Well, these guys have nailed this. You'll not find any X-ray vision in this. I haven't found any X-ray vision at all. Everything is kind of blocked by line of sight. If you're riding up a road or you're in a field and you're just looking around to see if there's any enemies, if there's any rocks, trees, or anything blocking your view, there could be an enemy behind it. You'll see what is behind it as far as foliage and paths and stuff like that is concerned. So the world is always visible. You need that so you can see where the hell you're going. But the people on the map are not, which means that there could easily be enemies there. And that, I love that mechanic, because when you go into towns and villages and strongholds, you really don't know exactly how many enemies in there or what kind of enemies they are until you can actually see without blocked line of sight. And it makes the game so much more immersive. And again, I want to mention another thing that I did mention in the review, the whole fact that the world feels real. I mean, obviously, in the context of it's a vampire game, but everybody's hostile with everybody. You have the sort of human people who are hostile with the undead, and then you got bosses who hate each other. Bosses will just have a go at each other, and you can capitalize on that, as I showed you in my review. I mean, that mechanic is massive. There's not many games actually do that. In most games, everybody else is against you, but they all love each other. And it's kind of meh. But in this, no. I mean, I believe Valheim's the same. Valheim, you have enemies will fight enemies in that. And it just makes the world feel alive. There's something about having that world that's alive. Same with the teleportation. You can't teleport with materials. You have to go on the roads unless you use a cave system, which is I guess a form of fast travel, but it's only from one fixed point to another fixed point. So it doesn't avoid all the trouble, the hassle, the mobs, the violence that you're going to come across. The sheer weight of options that you can twiddle and tweak with on this game is phenomenal as well. To get that experience just tailored right for what you want. Again, games, you know, when you buy a game, even if it's a new, fully polished, finished game, you hardly ever get that. I mean, we're talking about an early access game here. We're talking about they're still twiddling with this game. And it has more features than pretty much any game I've played for years. It makes the game so versatile, so fun to play. When you start playing the game again, when you come in from work and you load it up, you have so many things that you can do. You can either go out and kill a boss, one of the many, I think 36, 37 bosses. You can go out and kill one of them, which will yield more powers. Some great powers as well, by the way, which I'll come to in a second. unlock special crafting benches to progress with your gear score, or you can kit out your minions to send them on missions, because you have to have them on a high gear score if you want anything like decent loot. So you go out, you got to find a one who's got a high blood type, you know, preferably in the 80s plus, and then you mesmerize them with your come and look into my eyes, and then you bring them back into your castle, put them in a coffin, convert them to your cause, equip them with the best armor, the best weapons, then you sit on your throne and you overlay the whole map of everybody and you send them out onto missions to get valuables for you. And it's a 24-hour thing. It's something that you don't actually see in game. It's like autonomous. They just go out and do it. But the next day, you'll either get a success or a fail on that. And that's, again, deep mechanics on that. You've got to think about where you captured them, look at the traits that they've got, look at where you're sending them, look at how many hours you want to plow into it, look at their gear score. There's a lot goes into that's a game on its own, which is really good fun. And then you've got the prison system, which I didn't have when I did the review. I've got a prison system going on. I've only got 2 prisoners, but one of them's 100% blood type, the other one's 87 warrior, and I've got them on tap. You have to feed them, but they get so miserable because all you're doing is draining their blood and then drinking it in a vial. And they get miserable. They don't like that shit. So you've got to feed them some kinds of fish that they like, and it brings their misery down. You get their health back up, and then you drain their blood again, which again sends their misery up and their health down. So you have to balance that. But essentially, if you balance it correctly, you have an unlimited supply of brilliant blood on your hands. And I've got a cupboard full of their blood. And their blood is 100% pure. So when I'm out on a boss fight, I drink some of that blood and I get all the buffs related to that type of character. I mean, that's just for a rogue that I've got. There's all kinds of classes of people that you can capture and bring back, which give you a whole different set of buffs for when you go out there. It's fantastic, guys. Then there's the horses. The horses are great, so much faster than the wolf. And when you're all in a group riding around on horseback, it just looks so great as you're riding into villages and you start terrorizing everybody. The people are screaming, oh, the vampire. You run into the houses, eat their face, raid their cupboards, take all their shit, kill their pigs, go into the fields and just cut down all the crops because you need it. Your cotton is up there, but they've got garlic hanging up, which affects it. But if you've got anti-garlic resistance on your cloak, it's not too bad. Even picking up silver coins starts harming you. But hey, if you get enough silver coins, there's a trader going around and you can turn into human form after you kill a certain boss, and you can go up to the trader and trade with them. Guys, there are so many deep mechanics in this game, and I haven't even uncovered all of the map yet. I've still probably got another half of the map yet to uncover, and I'm having such a fucking blast. And I would equally like this solo as well. In fact, call me crazy, Mackie crazy. But when I'm finished this co-op PvE session, I want to do PvP, but I want to do it solo. I could happily start again, the whole game again, and do all of it again on my own in solo. It's such an immersive, fun game to play. Then there's the powers, guys. You've got all these different types of powers, and each type of power will have 7 or 8 different powers in there. You can only wield a few at a time. I think it's 3. There's one for travel power, and then we're talking about magic here, and 2 that you can actually wield in combat. So you have to kind of think about the situation you're going into, the specific boss, what he's going to be doing or she's going to be doing to you. And you pick the best magic do you need to freeze them. So I'm going to go into frost here. And you can just mix and match these powers and just swap them out in a few seconds, in the middle of a fight if you want. It's just so good. And when you're fighting, they've nailed the fight so well. When you're doing a boss fight, let's say there's 4 of you doing a boss fight, and somebody's getting absolutely pummeled in that fight and they need to retreat. They can retreat. They can piss off. They can just run out, get totally out of aggro range, and they can start healing up. Because if you heal up within aggro range of a boss, you can only heal, I think, 30% of your health or something like that. But if you get far enough away, you can 100% heal yourself. But of course, that drains your blood as well. So you can't do that more than, I think, probably twice. And then they can run back into the fight. You can actually do a tag team thing. You can have 2 people hanging out and 2 people in fighting the boss. And then when they've took a right battering, you send in the other 2, and the original 2, they pull out, they try and get healed up, and then they go back on and keep swapping like that. It's just so fucking good. It's because some of the boss fights are really tough. We've had a lot of wipes playing this. It's not easy. It's quite a brutal game, but the way you can do it is real, and a lot of games won't allow you to do that. Oh no, that's cheating. No, it's not, because you can do that in real life. You know, it's not. Well, you couldn't heal up instantly. I suppose if you're a vampire, you could. There's so much more I could say about this game. I mean, I'll say something. It runs like shite, so there's that. But there's so much more I could say on the positive side of this game. Just how you can make your castle look amazing. I deliberately left the DLC stuff, visuals, out of my review as a kind of protest. I didn't want to advertise them, but this is them. You can see them now. This is the kind of stuff you get with the cosmetic DLC. But you know, a couple of people in the chat says, "Oh, this is Mac selling out because he got a key." I mean, my goodness, I've had keys. I remember Armor Contact. I got sent a huge case with professional walkie-talkies and loads of merch. I've had loads of stuff sent to me for games, and I still thumb them down if they're shite. If a developer sends me a huge pack of merchandise about the game, that doesn't bother me in the slightest. Thanks. But if your game's shite, I'm still going to wreck it. No, what this is, guys, what you got right here is what I've been saying all along. This is why I'm a harsh critic of other games, because they're all just kind of, yeah, it's alright, I guess. But they're not great. I mean, everybody else thinks they're great. And you see all these reviews, 9 out of 10, yes, it was wonderful. No, it wasn't. It's a 6 or a 6.5 at best. And then you get this. You'll get a game like this, which is by no means perfect. Like I said, it runs like shite. It's got frame drops. It's got a bit of clunk, and you can get stuck on some of the fences and stuff. But the essence of this game is brilliant. It is light years ahead of a lot of games that I review, light years ahead of them. And this is how, when I see these kind of games, this is a genuinely good game. And a lot of the games that are professed as being good games are just not. I mean, I know it's, you know, each to their own, like, you know, everybody has different tastes, but this kind of is my taste. People watch my channel because they want my opinion. Well, in my opinion, this is the essence of a great game. It hits the immersion. It hits the combat. There's no RNG. It's all absolute skill-based combat. It's got a great open world. It's got fantastic buildings that look great. And I'm sure we'll get a lot more choices on that in the future. It's got deep mechanics outside of the basic game loop. It's got so much to do, so much content. It's PvP, it's PvE, and single player offline. I mean, guys, it's proper naughty. Anyway, that's enough of me gushing over this great game. I'd love to go and play it now, but I've got to edit this video. But, yeah, I'll probably get a few hours in before Sniper drops tomorrow. Yes, come on, taste of my fangs.